Hey everyone, it's Kim Hooson with Girl Scouts of Silver Sage, and I am here with another just-in-time training. This one is on the Smart Booth Divider. The Smart Booth Divider is a feature of Smart Cookies that helps with distributing the cookie sales from your cookie booths. So first, we're going to talk about distributing cookies for each of your booths. So you do want to make sure that you record all packages sold by a variety at each individual booth sale, and then evenly distribute those packages to the girls that participated in that booth. I do have a couple of great tools for you to use. They are tools that I've personally used in either my troop or for my daughter's sale. And let me tell you, my daughter sold a lot of cookies last year. We did a lot of booths. I think she did over 20 booths last year. And these items were things that we personally used for the entire time she was doing her booths. So these items can be found on Cookie Central. Cookie Central is the cookie portion of the Girl Scouts of Silver Sage website. It is the hub that you find all information for everything cookies. You can find Cookie Central by going to www.girlscouts-ssc.org. And that is our council website. That is where you will find everything Girl Scouts of Silver Sage. So when you're in there looking for Cookie Central, up at the top, there's a little menu, and highlighted in yellow here, we have the cookies drop down. You click on cookies, or you can go to the drop down. Either way will get you to Cookie Central. If you are on a mobile device, you will find that with the little 3-bar menu in the top right-hand corner. You click on that menu and then you go to the cookies section. Just click cookies, it'll take you to Cookie Central. Then you see it on a mobile-friendly version instead of on a desktop. So when you're on Cookie Central, you have a bunch of information in there, but as you scroll down towards the bottom, you will eventually see a bunch of white little boxes with text in them and little arrows. Those arrows, if you click on them, will drop down and it will give you some more information. So there are all of your troop guides, your family guides, links to the Cookie Kickoff for Families event is on there. In the forms and tools section, there's a whole bunch of certificates and thank you cards. And I had a direct to service unit cookie manager there the other day for the dot sheet that they use when they're distributing their cookies for the initial order. So there's lots of great tools in that section. Then the next one down, I think it's the next one. One of the next ones down is the cookie booths and cookie cupboard section. So if you click on that little arrow in the corner, this is what you will see in that drop down. So some of you may have used this how many cookies do I order for a booth section already when you were figuring out your initial order and how many cookies you wanted to order. We are going to take a look at that workbook again, but we're going to look at the first page of that instead of the last one. We now have a local cupboard details page. This has been updated with information on our cookie cupboards for the 2026 cookie program. Then you've got your Cookie Booth Essentials, which comes directly from GSUSA. We've got some Cookie Booth bingo cards if you want to do a fun activity with your cookie booths. I'm going to skip the next two because I'm going to come back to them. We have our cookie exchange for this year has been cleared out and has been refreshed for 2026. So the cookie exchange works when a troop has too many cookies and their girls have either said, I'm done, but they just want to get rid of whatever's left over, or various reasons. A troop may maybe have a cookie exchange. Maybe they accidentally over-ordered on Adventurefuls and they need to get rid of some of them. They can post them on the cookie exchange. And then if your troop is looking for some more Adventurefuls, instead of placing an order at one of the cupboards, you can go to one of those troops who has too many, and you can have them do a troop-to-troop transfer so that you're helping them get rid of some of the inventory they don't need, and you're getting what you need. So the cookie exchange is broken down into areas. So we have a western area for the Treasure Valley and west into Oregon, and then we have a central, which ideally was more for Mountain Home, Twin Falls area. I know those areas tend to do a lot of their exchanging through their other communication methods, but if they want to use this, that's there too. Or if they want to trade off with a Boise troop, also fine. Then we also have one for Eastern Idaho. I think I see the most activity on the East and West pages, but they are there in geographical regions for everyone to use. The last one on here is a cookie booth of the week. This is our form that you would click on to fill out to submit your photos for cookie booth of the week. And cookie booth of the week is a drawing that we do weekly for anyone who has submitted a photo of their Girl Scouts at cookie booths. We will go on, I think it's on Wednesday morning. So you have till Tuesday to submit them after you've had a weekend of cookie booths. And then on Wednesday morning, Kim and I will go through, we'll take a look at all of the photos. Sometimes there's one outstanding favorite. Sometimes we have to pick and kind of decide between a couple of them. Sometimes we have the rest of our council team weigh in on a winner. So that is Cookie Booth of the Week. We do love seeing all of those photos of all of your girls because we can't be everywhere in the state at once. So we do like to see that and see how your girls are celebrating and achieving and being the amazing Girl Scouts that they are. Okay, so the ones I want to point out on here are the Cookie Booth checklists, which is a list of papers that you would print off to physically send to a cookie booth. These are going to be your inventory sheets. Then you have the Cookie Booth workbook, which is a digital tracking of those inventory sheets that does all of the math for you. So you don't have to worry about how many cases versus how many packages. It just maths. That is its job. It likes to math. So taking a look at those, on the left here is that Cookie Booth checklist. So this is just one of the several pages that are in there. So this is the initial checklist. This is something that maybe you as the Troop Cookie Manager would fill out ahead of time to say, okay, these are all of the cookies that I am sending with parent A to a cookie booth with their child, or it's parents A and B and the leaders aren't involved in this cookie booth. They have parents that are doing it for them. Don't we wish that was a scenario every time? But if you are personally not going to be at the cookie booth and you want to send this with whichever Girl Scouts and families are going to be there, they can then put the date, location, start time, which registered adults are going to be there. Then they can put the names of the girls. And then you, Troop Cookie Manager, can pre-fill out the cookies that you are sending to this booth. If they get to the booth and there is a discrepancy in what you have written down versus what they are pulling out of their card, they can make a note down at the bottom. This also is a place where you or they can enter the amount of cash that they are being sent with to make change. So this way, if you send them with $50 in fives and $30 in singles, they can list that on here. And there's on the ending checklist, there's one for them to enter how much cash they actually did collect so that they can figure out that difference. So like I said, this is one page of it. There's another one with instructions. There's another one that has your ending inventory. And then there is one that you can print out and put on like a large 10 by 13 manila envelope, or you print it directly onto the envelopes if you have a printer that will print that large, or use 8 by 10 envelopes. Either one of those would work. So you print that out on there, or glue, staple, tape it. And that last one is where the adults who are at the booth, they would put all of the cash collected in that envelope, they would seal it, and then on the outside they would sign it saying everything that you, Cookie Manager, needs is in this envelope, and I am providing that back to you. Then the workbook, this one is, like I said, it's a digital tool. It is currently in Google Sheets. I think it was originally Excel, and I merged it and I modified it to work with Google Sheets. Um, and this one, one of the features I love about it is that you can put in your cases and your boxes. You don't have to do them as a total box count. So if you know you have 3 unopened cases and 5 extra boxes, you can put them in as 3 cases, 5 boxes, and then it does the math for you. And that math shows up in the colorful box at the very bottom. So again, less math for you. Um, so you would start in here with the initial inventory that was sent to the booth or is on that initial checklist. And then the final cookie box inventory is going to be it's on that ending checklist or what they ended up with. And then this does all the math for you. So it'll calculate how many of packages were sold based on what was left and what you started with. Now, if you have any customers that pay for a cookie share package through Digital Cookie at a cookie booth, you want to make sure that you add those in the cookie share section and you add those to your cookie share booth in your smart booth divider because those have already been paid for. They are going to need to be accounted for. And I have not yet found a really easy way to identify those. I have not seen one of the Digital Cookie reconciliation sheets yet from the booths, but what I had done is I would go in and I would check all of my booth packages through the all order data report that is in Digital Cookie. And I would just check for any cookies shared to make sure that I was accounting for anything that was paid for digitally. Because maybe a customer is paying through Digital Cookie and the girls say, oh, hey, you've ordered 4 packages. If you get a 5th package, you get a 5 for 5 ticket to win 5 cases of cookies. And they say, okay, do it, but make it a donation package. And then you want to make sure that that's accounted for. Okay, so once you have your total number of cookie boxes, you can then also input that initial cash count. One quirk of this spreadsheet is that for like $5 bills, if you have $50, you're going to put in the quantity of 10 bills to get you your $50. Same with in the final cash count. If somebody paid you with some quarters and you had 4 quarters, so you will say, I have quantity 4, it'll make $1. Then you, in the middle here, you can add your girls. There's also a section at the bottom to add adults. But if you have a booth and say you've got a troop of daisies and your daisies really only last for about an hour, but maybe the troop leader has to be at that booth as the second adult for the whole thing. So the troop leader's daughter has to be there for all 3 hours. And the other girls are coming in for 1 or 1.5. You can split this up and say that, okay, girl 1 was here for 3 hours, girl 2 was here for 1 hour, girl 3 was here for 1.5 hours, and split it up. And then the spreadsheet will, with rounding, tell you how many packages of cookies each of those girls earned based on the number of hours she was at the booth, which is great if you have girls who are splitting the shift of the cookie booth. And then over here in yellow, I think I did cut off, there's a section down at the bottom for adding your total number of payments made by credit card, and that you just put a total dollar value. And there's a section for checks. Doesn't usually happen at a cookie booth, but you never know, it could. So then in the summary section, it will give you the money for the initial inventory, the money for the final inventory. It takes, and it does all that math for you. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to double check with your calculator. It's just in there. And then in this reconciliation section, it will give you that total number of cookies sold. The sales price is already listed in there for you. The expected gross is going to be how much your cookie booth is expecting to have from the sales of the cookies based on the total boxes sold. Then it will take the actual money collected from your checks, your credit cards, and your final cash count minus your initial cash count as your actual money collected. And then you have that discrepancy. So do double check. I think I corrected it so that if you have an extra $6, it says $6. but double check that your expected gross is smaller or larger than your actual money to figure out which direction that sign puts your booth. Because if it says you collected or you were supposed to collect $300, you collected 306, and it's a negative $6, that just means you collected $6 more than you thought you were going to. So maybe that's a cookie share, or maybe that's a cookie share for later, depending on how you enter your cookie shares. So there you have it. These tools in a nutshell. Now we are going to go into navigating the Smart Booth Divider in Smart Cookies. So first of all, we want to log in to our ABC Smart Cookies. And then in here, we are going to go to the Booth tab and then click on My Reservations. The My Reservations tab is going to show you every single cookie booth that your troop has reserved in the system for you to do. So it will look a little bit like this. So we've got your troop booth reservations. If you have a lot of booths, you can do a search for them. So if you need to search for your Walmart or your Albertsons, you can stick it in the search here. Once you have what you're looking for, there will be three little dots on the right-hand side. If you can't see those three little dots initially, going to the very bottom row on the grid and kind of hovering just under the bottom row should pull up a light gray slider bar. And then you can slide that bar all the way to the right, and then you'll see those dots, just in case you don't see those initially when you're looking at it. So when you click on those dots, you will have three options. You have the booth details. Definitely look at those booth details. Those are any notes that the store has indicated to me or in the past that they prefer for you. Maybe it's a table size, where to set up. Please make sure that you are storing the rest of your cookies under your table. Don't use our carts to move your cookies in and out, just depending on what the store has requested. If you are doing a cookie booth at a Wendy's, that booth details section will contain a PDF copy of our agreement with Wendy's that you will want to print off and bring in with you when you go to that booth. Then in the middle is your Smart Booth Divider. So that is where we're going to click to do that. The last one on here is Remove Reservation. So if you have a booth on here and you no longer want to do it, you can click that Remove Reservation section so another troop could take it. And by doing so, it will bring a pop-up that says, are you sure you want to cancel this? You will lose it forever. And then you can click yes or no. So we're going to click on that Smart Booth Divider, and we will come here. So once we're in here, it does give you a summary of your booth. So it'll tell you where it's at, the date and time, so that you can verify you're entering the right booth's information. Because maybe you're doing 4 or 5 booths in this day with, your various scrolls. Then in here, we're going to enter all these blue rectangles is a spot where you can enter a number. So we are going to enter the data for this cookie booth, and then we're going to click on Save and Distribute. Once we've clicked Save and Distribute, it will bring a pop-up of all of the girls in your troop, and you can click on their little boxes next to their name to select that girl for the booth. Once you've selected all your girls, you'll click Continue. And so here we've got it says 5 packages remaining to distribute. We distributed a total of 156, and total sold is 161. The reason it does this is Smart Cookies will go and distribute the cookies sold as evenly as possible amongst all of the girls that were at that booth. So in here, you see the lemonades, they sold 20, they had 4 girls, so each girl got 5 lemonades. And that just happened to be even. If these numbers, like the trefoils with 11, is not divisible by the number of girls that is selected, so 4, it will tell you in this red box here that you still have cookies left to distribute. You have cookies that need to go to a girl because it could not evenly distribute those to the girls. So what I like to do is I just like to start at the top and then go down, and it's like, okay, so for this one I'm missing, I'm going to give it to Belinda. For these 3, this one I'm going to give to Billy, this one I'm going to give to Blanca, this one I'm going to give to Brenda. And then I do have one extra hanging out over here remaining. And maybe I know that this is a girls only booth and I want to be able to give her that one extra. Maybe I have a girl who did a really outstanding job doing customer service, or maybe it was her first booth and she started out like hiding behind her mom's leg, but then by the end she was like almost running up to a customer and being really excited and asking for them to purchase cookies. So just as fairly and as possible to distribute those last minute stragglers. If maybe all of these girls are scheduled for another booth, you'll give that one to Belinda, and the next time you'll give the extra to one of the other girls. Again, as fairly as possible. You can redistribute cookies eventually. So if you get to the very end and Belinda had the extra cookie at 4 cookie booths and you want to distribute that a little bit more evenly, you can give it to a different girl. And I will show you that on another slide. So we will now, once we've added all those red boxes, we've cleared them all out, we want to make sure we click save. If we don't click save, they don't get distributed. So click save. So now we've got 161 distributed, 161 sold. There's no red boxes, and it will give a pop-up saying that you have successfully distributed the packages sold to the girls, and a T2G, Troop to Girl transfer, and virtual cookie share transactions have been created for those girls. So when you go into that manage orders grid that we talked about last week, you will see that there is a Troop to Girl transfer with parentheses B next to it for booth. That is how the system differentiates whether it came from the Smart Booth divider or whether it was a transfer that you made manually. But again, Smart Booth divider, it will create all of those transfers for you. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go, okay, this girl got 20 boxes. This girl got 30 boxes. What am I going to, give her? It does that for you. This is why this feature is absolutely amazing. And now here we go to talk about editing and deleting transactions within the Smart Booth divider. Again, My Reservations tab, click on the Smart Booth divider. If we want to just edit the girls that were at this booth. So in this one, we have 6 girls, and we got the paperwork back from the adults that were there, and 2 of the girls didn't show up. So we want to make sure we click them off, remove them, click continue. And then once we have clicked them off, it will have us redistribute the cookies to the girls because now we are missing 2 of them. So it will have you redistribute them. You got to clear out those red boxes again and click save. What the system will end up doing when you make an edit is it removes and deletes that old Troop to Girl transfer that it had originally made. It is going to now make a new Troop to Girl transfer with the new numbers. So you don't have to worry about having duplicate transactions in there. The system does it for you. And it will tell you that it has now created new Troop to Girl transfers and any sort of virtual cookie share that was in there. Then this one is if we wanted to edit the number of packages sold at a booth. So if you are on Saturday was the booth, you are reconciling it on Sunday or Monday, just with all the other ones, and you've discovered that the parent accidentally grabbed a case of their own daughter's Adventurefuls and brought them to the booth. So now the inventory was off when they counted at the end because they had an extra case of Adventurefuls. If you need to adjust your information or your numbers, you can click on the Edit Booth Sales up at the top, and we can change what numbers we actually sold at the booth. Or if you did discover that there was a cookie share that was sold on Digital Cookie and you wanted to add it to the booth, you can click on the booth, put in a cookie share, and then once you do edit that, again, you do have to redistribute the cookies to the girls because it's going to remove those transactions and has to recreate them. So again, changing it up for the girls, getting rid of all those red boxes, and it will tell us we have successfully distributed the packages and the Troop to Girl transfers have been created. Additionally, Smart Cookies will let you delete a transaction within the Smart Booth divider. So going back into that Smart Booth divider, if this booth, you get the paperwork back, and only one of the girls was actually able to make it. This is now turned into a mom and me, and you just need to swap it out or cancel it completely. Or maybe at this booth, Blanca's mom was in charge and she grabbed Blanca's cookies instead of the troops booth cookies to um, put at the booth, and you want to make sure that you distributed them to the right girl. You can cancel the distribution, and you can click on that button right there to do it. It will give you a pop-up to say, hey, do you want to cancel this distribution? Yes or no. So you can clear it out or you can go back. Okay, so finally, thank you for watching this just-in-time training video on the Smart Booth Divider. Again, the Smart Booth Divider is a great tool, easy to use, does a lot of the math and transactions for you, so you don't have to think about it. It's also great for me on a data standpoint, as I can go in and through the Smart Booth Divider, I can just pull a report of everything that's been entered into it so that I can get troops information like how many cookies on average are sold at a cookie booth in our council. And because I have a couple of years of data now that I can pull from the Smart Booth Divider, thank you everyone for using those last year. I can say that last year we sold about 108 packages per booth. If you have any questions over any of the content today, we will have a Q&A next Tuesday, the 17th at 6 p.m. It is on our council website in the events calendar. So if you're on the desktop, there is a little calendar icon up at the top right corner. You can click on that, find your date, and it'll say the Cookie Open Office Hours Q&A. That is our Q&A session for these just-in-times. They are the same Zoom link every time. So if you've gone to one before, or if I've posted a just-in-time link before, that's the same Q&A for the Zoom. If you are looking at our council website on a mobile device, again, clicking on the 3 bars at the top corner, scrolling all the way down to where it says events calendar, and then you'll find that where you can access the Q&A. The Zoom link is in the Q&A. You don't have to sign up for it unless you want to. Other best way to reach us is through customer care. You can either send an email, make them a phone call, send them a voicemail. That is the best way to reach one of us, since both Kim and I can see those. And if I have a kid who's sick, or if she has a conference to go to, or anything in between, somebody wins the lottery, goes to Tahiti for a week, we both of us have access to that so that we can follow up with you and make sure, rather than it going to one inbox over another, that only one of us has access to. So again, thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. Thank you.